something that I think has affected all of us here and also many people across the world. I mean, I think I'd like to start with the fact that today is 19-year-old Sohrab's memorial ceremony. And his mother, there's a YouTube video of his mother standing in front of Evin prison for several days now. She's wearing a purple scarf, and she asks any prisoner who comes out, who's just been released, if they've seen her son, and she's showing pictures of him. And of course, he disappeared on the 15th of June at one of the protests, and she's been looking all over for him, as have many mothers and many family members. And finally, she found out he was in Evin prison. She's been standing there every day, and she's been to the court, was expecting him to be released when their family was contacted to come and pick up his body. And on Saturday, his older brother went there and was shown 50 to 60 photographs of people who've been killed. So already we know the numbers. We've collected nearly 60 names of people who've been killed. The regime has only admitted to killing 20. But his older brother was shown 50 to 60 photographs and had to choose Sohrab's picture from, identify his body through those photographs. And they were given his body, and he is going to be, his memorial ceremony is today, Monday, today, after, to commemorate his life. Him and so many people like him have been arrested. Thousands have been arrested. There's reports that possibly there are 3,000 arrested in Tehran alone. And since the 9th July anniversary, he died here, there are many more who've been arrested as well. And we've heard so many reports of things like, families being asked to pay for the bodies before they take charge of them. And this is something they did in the past as well during the 80s, where families had to pay for the price of the bullet to take back the bodies of those who've been executed by the regime. And they've even made a specific place in Behesht Zahra Cemetery for those who've been killed during this period. And it's called the Section of the Hypocrites, and which is the name the Islamic regime has given it. So people like, someone like Neda, we all know 27-year-old Neda, Agha Sultan, who was shot dead at a protest as well on June 20th, the day after Khamenei issued his warning on protesters. She too is buried there. And if you read an interview with her fiancé, who said that they had such great difficulty getting the body back, and that they weren't allowed to hold a memorial ceremony, and that they were told to bury her in that section. I think it's a tragedy really, and the fact that it's become so personal, because we are seeing Sohrab's mother, we are seeing Neda die in front of our eyes, which makes this so, makes this a different sort of thing, doesn't it? Because we know the Islamic regime for 30 years, we've known it, and we've fought against it. But it's become personal to an extent where we even know what Sohrab's mother looks like. We know that the doctor who tried to save Neda and who actually sent an email out saying this is what's happened, there's a warrant out for his arrest by the regime for doing this. So in a sense, what Anthony said is the mask has been completely removed, and things that we've been saying for so long is so clear that this regime and all of its repressiveness and brutality is open for the world to see. It's naked. It has no more covering. And on the other hand, the bravery and the courage of the millions who have come out on the streets of Iran, and the humanity of their demands. Neda's fiancé said that, in an interview with BBC Farsi, he said that, she was not supportive of either faction of the regime. All she wanted was freedom for herself and for everyone else. And I think, in a sense, what's happening in Iran today is the death of the Islamic regime of Iran. It's the death of cultural relativism and this nonsense philosophy and theory that people deserve you know, what they get, because that's part of their beliefs and that's part of their desires. They want to be, they want to live under medievalism and brutality and barbarity. And I think it's also so hopeful, as Dick Taverne said. There's also so much hope in what we see on the streets of Iran, because it actually gives us the possibility to see that there is another way possible. There is another way possible, a world, a new dawn, a different type of world, without an Islamic regime, without political Islam, without Sharia courts and terrorism and all of it. And people, and this is something, you know, I've always said, is that, you know, people who are often labeled and classified as Muslim or as and always supportive of the political Islamic movement are actually its first victims and at the forefront of battling this movement. And we can see it clearly. We can see it clearly on the streets of Iran. I think the thing is that, as Anthony said, we have a lot of differences. You know, we all belong to different political parties. We come from a history of revolution and a crushed revolution and its expropriation and an Islamic regime that has killed 100,000 people, very often in hiding, very often behind prison doors. And we haven't seen them hanging Delara Darabi. We didn't see them stoning Maryam Ayubi, but we have seen them kill our Nedas and our Sohrabs. And so in that sense, I think we need to think, okay, we have differences, but how can we come together? We have a duty to come together, to support the brave and courageous people of Iran, and also to stand with them once and for all in opposition to the Islamic regime of Iran. Today, we hope that the Iran solidarity can be a unifying force for all of us, irrespective of our politics, irrespective of whether we think Mousavi's great or we think he's part and parcel of the Islamic regime of Iran. Can we agree that people in Iran deserve to live in a society where religion is separate from the state, where there is no stoning and execution, where there is freedom of expression and organization, where, you know, there is freedom of expression, and where people who are responsible for Neda and Sohrab's death and the death of so many others are prosecuted for their crimes against humanity. So I hope this is a day where we can see something new. I'm very hopeful, actually, because already, before we've launched, 1,000 organizations and individuals have signed up to this campaign. And I know it can be so much more, and it will be so much more. The slogan on the streets of Iran is, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We are all together." And I think that is a slogan that applies to all of us here as well. We have a responsibility and a duty. And I hope that this Iran solidarity will be the start of something very important, and really helping and standing with the people of Iran to bring an end to medievalism and brutality and barbarity, and heralding really a new dawn. And the future could possibly very well be ours. Thank you.